All right, my name is VJ Paneerswami Jr. I provide tech support to the people of India, and I'm here to provide some tech support to you people and tell you what's going on. I don't like the monitor here, so I'm gonna take these off, and I'll just go. Okay, so a couple things I'm going to tell you about today. First thing is coffee. I'm a kind of a coffee aficionado. Right here, I have a freshly brewed espresso. It's delicious. Let me tell you how I made that. I'm using my second choice coffee, which is pre-ground Supreme Bustelo. My first choice, Ralph's doesn't care. My local Ralph's doesn't carry anymore. I found this last night, but I haven't opened it yet. This is my first choice for pre-ground espresso, Illy Espresso. Looks like I'm going to have to order this stuff from Amazon now. But the Supreme Bustelo isn't too bad. So let me show you some more about coffee. We'll switch to the Chrome browser here. And I'll show you what I'm going to end up buying via Amazon. So Illy Espresso, I can get 2 packages. Turns out it was $15 at Ralph's for a can of this stuff. So it looks like I'm going to be saving some money ordering from Amazon. My second choice is Supreme by Bustelo, espresso style ground coffee. This is really good. I think this looks a little bit more expensive than a pack of 2. Yeah, it seems like it's about $6 or $7. 10 ounces? Yeah, I think it's still cheaper at Ralph's. Well, at any rate, this is kind of my backup. And then this isn't bad either. The original Cafe Bustelo. In fact, this is really good stuff. This is 36 ounces for $21. Seems like it's about $5 at like 10 ounces is $5 at Ralph's. This is like my backup. It's still pretty good. One thing I like about the Cuban coffee and what the people do with the Cuban coffee, what the Cubans do with it is they mix a little sugar in with the grounds and then brew it that way, and it gets sweet and it's delicious. Of course, when you make espresso, you need to have a 15-bar espresso maker. So this is my espresso maker. When I bought it 2 years ago, I think it was about $250. It's now, $143. Very affordable. This is very easy to use. Let me get a picture of this here. This little guy right here. This one in the I forget what they call them, the little carafe things or whatever. Well, anyway, you fill that with espresso, and then you tamp it. You tamp it with a tamper. I actually have a a chrome tamper that I like. So you kind of compress it a little bit, and then you brew the stuff. I like. What do I like? Well, I told you the coffee I like. I actually bought 5 extra of these double shot carafe thing, and it's not a carafe. It's a whatever it is, these little stamp things that you brew these things with, the grounds holder. I actually bought 5 extras so that I can clean up, in the morning, and then be able to brew 6 double shots all day, and that keeps me going all day. For now, I just like my espresso, just the espresso. I might put like a syrup in there, but usually I just drink it. I just drink it straight. If you like the milk with your espresso, you want to make a latte or a cappuccino. Of course, you can do it with the steam wand on the espresso maker, but I kind of like sort of a dry froth, and this thing works amazing if you like that. Use 1% milk with it, and it's not about like the fat content, so you're watching your weight or whatever else. It's at 1% milk, froths up just perfectly. Use 2%, it doesn't froth up enough, and if you use non-percent, it'll froth up and like take over the whole kitchen. So 1% is just like the right amount of proteins and fat and whatever for frothing. Very good. So anyway, that's the coffee setup today. When I want a cold coffee, let me show you what I like here. Apologize for the dog. She's directly under the microphone and panting, and I don't know if she knows what's going on or whatever. Anyway, I love this Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee, espresso flavored. If you frequent the Ralph's in Rancho Santa Margarita or Mission Viejo, California, North Mission Viejo, and you can't find it, it's probably because I was there and cleaned out the shelves of the stuff. I do that about every week. And, you know, like buy 12 or 13 of them and, you know, have a couple a day. They're really good. I really love the espresso flavor, and they can't keep it in stock for me. They're about $2.50 a piece. They're delicious. I like them. Highly recommended. And then when I'm not drinking that, I'm not drinking the coffee or the coffee drinks, probably got a glass of non-fat milk going. So it keeps my teeth white. That's what's important. Let's move on to what's really important here and why you showed up to watch this, and that is you wanted to know about what computer to buy. So I'm gonna tell you about a few choices here. Their basic choices are Chromebooks. Chromebooks are very good. You may think, hey, that's you know, kind of like a lightweight browser only. You know, why wouldn't you want like a Mac or a Windows machine or whatever else? Chromebook's very, very functional, and it might meet your needs. So I'm going to show you some of those. Then, of course, you know, do you want a Mac? Well, maybe you want a Mac. Maybe you use Macs. You're comfortable with them. You'd like one. They tend to be a little bit more expensive. There aren't, since Apple's the only one who makes Macs, there isn't quite the pace of innovation and you know, different form factors and different choices that there is in the Windows world or even the Chromebook world. But if you use a Mac and you love your Mac, you probably want to buy a Mac. And then Windows machines. I'll show you what's important with those as well. You know, if you're trying to choose a machine that runs Windows 10, Windows 10 is wonderful. If you're a Mac user thinking, hey, I don't want to spend all this money on a Mac again, I'd love to switch to Windows 10. It's pretty easy to switch. You might have a learning curve of a couple to 3 weeks, but it's not terribly bad, and you'll save money and you'll have more options. I'll show you what those are about. And then, you know, if you're really adventurous, you might want to build your own computer. Actually, the computer I'm using to do this video cast, I built it myself. It's what is it? It's an Intel i7. It's got 32 gigs of RAM. It's got an awesome graphics card, and I've got it paired with, and I'll talk about these later, displays. I have it paired with an Acer curved 34-inch QHD ultra-wide display, which is just amazing for, you know, the amount of screen space it puts in front of you to you know, to work on multiple things at once. So we're going to go through those things. All right, Chromebooks. Chromebooks are they're made by many manufacturers, and they are it's a Google thing. And you can see Acer makes them, Google actually makes them. Here's a Samsung that's a you'll notice this, it looks kind of like a tablet. It's actually a laptop that's folded completely over. This is really neat, and I will probably pick up this particular Samsung one just to check it out in the coming month or so and let you know what I think, because it's got a pen and it's got a super high resolution display and it's got some other things that are nice. So when you go to the Chromebook site, I just went to google.com/Chromebook. They have this Find Yours page. Oh yeah, that doesn't work. So I bookmarked the one that does. And you can see there's all sorts of sizes and shapes and, you know, everything else. There's a ton of them. Let me tell you what's important about these, or what to look for. First thing I'd look for now, if you're buying a new Chromebook, is does it run Google Play? So this is really neat, because if you have an Android phone, all of your apps that run on your Android phone will run on the Chromebook if it supports Google Play. It has this little icon here to tell you that it supports Google Play. and that's pretty cool. Probably my biggest complaint about the Chromebook for the longest time is that I couldn't run a proper email client on it. I had to run basically webmail, whether that be through Gmail or whether that be a webmail interface to my own personal email accounts or things like that. A lot of times you'd like the mail stored on the machine, and that was probably my biggest complaint about the Chromebook, because I couldn't do that before. But with Google Play, my Chromebook, I now run Canine Mail on it, and I can check mail and use it just like I do on my phone or just like I do on a PC, which is pretty cool. So big fan of that. If you buy a new Chromebook, about half of them now support Google Play. Just get one that supports Google Play. You'll like it better. I mentioned this before about the Samsung Chromebook Plus. This is a pretty cool machine. It is a this one flips all the way over. It's called a convertible, or a 2-in-1. It's what they call them. So it has sort of that laptop form factor, but it can flip all the way over and become a tablet. Those are really cool. I think if you're going to get any laptop today, unless it's like a power user laptop, like you're planning to do, like Adobe Premiere or Adobe Audition, or those kinds of heavy activities with it, I would definitely get a one of these that can flip over to a tablet, because they can be, maybe you don't use it as a tablet very much, but where it's really convenient is using it in sort of what they call tent mode. I'll show you a picture of that. But that can be really, with touchscreen display and stuff, that can be really, really nice for, for just browsing the web, or, like looking up a recipe, all those sorts of things. It's really convenient. So I would definitely suggest a convertible or a 2-in-1 that supports that, whatever you do for a laptop. So there's all these Chromebooks. So let me show you a couple particular ones that I like. This is one that I use every day for work. I bought it 2 years ago. I bought it exactly when the day it came out, because it has all the things I need for work. Number one, it's got powerful processor, so it's fast. It's got 8 gigs of RAM, so that also makes it fast. It has a backlit keyboard. I mean, I was pretty amazed when they came up with a Chromebook with a backlit keyboard. That's serious, so you can work in a dark room and still see to be able to type and not have to flip the screen over to see the keys and stuff. Backlit keyboard's pretty amazing, and I'd always suggest a backlit keyboard. I actually, when I do my tech support work to the people of India, I'm this VJ Paneerswami. I have a name that I use, with them, so they're comfortable with me. Some of them call me VJJ for VJ Junior, and whatever turns them on, right? I just want their money, and I just want to be happy with the support they get. So I use a Chromebook for that 100% of the time. Usually I'm looking up something on the web, or I'm on Google Hangouts. I can plug in a USB headset or just a regular headset into this thing and be talking with them and help them out. It's got a little video camera on it if they want to see this guy who purportedly has an Indian name but doesn't look very Indian and doesn't talk very Indian either. Can't do accents, so I don't bother. I just use the name so they're comfortable. But I do it all on this Acer 14-inch Full HD Chromebook. Absolutely love this thing. This is a great machine. Now, this is not as I talked before about a convertible, this is not a convertible. If this were a convertible, it would be the ultimate laptop. Absolutely. No doubt in my mind. And this thing recently got the ability, it was like August or so, got the ability to run Google Play apps, which makes it just perfect for what I do. Okay. Here's that Samsung that I told you about. Now, this is a funny model of the Samsung. I think you saw it was like $450 on the Google store. But when you go and look at this $350, and it's a special model that uses a Samsung chip rather than an Intel chip, which is probably just fine. I mean, I think I probably will pick one of these things up just to see if it's any good. It has that pen. It's got the super high density display. just to see how it works out. I think it's only 4 gigabytes of RAM though, but that shouldn't really get in your way. That's like double the RAM that your typical phone has. So it's probably a good laptop. I want to try it out. Again, this one is a convertible. It flips over completely to a tablet if you need it to. And I'd wholeheartedly recommend it without even trying it. I'm sure it's great. It's a tremendous value at $350 if a Chromebook is enough for what you need. If you don't have to do video editing, if you don't have to do sound editing, if you're just pretty much on the web most of the time, absolutely perfect machine. And if you want to play some games and stuff that are in the Google Play Store, that'll be perfect for you. Let's switch over to the Mac. So I mentioned this before, you know, some of you guys like Macs, and that's okay. I was a Mac user almost exclusively until 2 years ago. And, you know, one of the things about using a Mac is, okay, you only get the Mac from Apple. There's really no, there's no other choice. I mean, there's some hackers that do these Hackintosh machines and whatever, but not really. I mean, it's worth the effort, I guess, if that's what you want to do, but most people not worth the effort. Give you an idea about price. Let's take a look at the MacBook. The MacBook this is their standard MacBook. Well, they start at $1,300 and $1,600. Let's look at the MacBook Air. Now this guy starts at about $1,000, so this gives you an idea of price. Now, none of these MacBooks have touch screens, and they also aren't convertible. So, you know, sort of two things that I think are really, really important with a laptop today to make it real easy to use. Mac doesn't offer that. But if you're a creative type, you know, the Mac is kind of the standard. And if you've used Macs, you know, at work, or you've used them all your life or whatever else, it is some effort to switch to Windows. And, you know, it doesn't always, I don't know. I mean, I didn't find it terribly difficult. I did like look for things on Windows that I just couldn't find before. But what I found over the long haul is there's so many more options for things. The software is just as easy to use. You use basically the same software as you do on a Mac. You know, most Mac users don't use Safari. They switch to Chrome. Well, guess what? Most Windows users don't use Internet Explorer Edge. They switch to Chrome. So you're basically using the same, you know, the same software to begin with. But if you like a Mac, they're okay. Let's take a look at the iMac. So we've looked a lot at laptop computers, and the iMac is a desktop computer, so you've got to have a desk for it. It'll have its own keyboard and mouse and things like that. iMacs are nice. I mean, they give you a lot of screen. They're fast. They're a Mac, so they work just, you know, if you've had a MacBook or you've had a you know, say a MacBook Pro, you know, they're real. It's real easy to figure out how to use it. They've got the Apple software if you like that. So that's them. They got this thing coming out in December, this iMac Pro. So this thing's kind of amazing, tech spec wise. Of course, it runs Mac software, not Windows software. But this is pretty amazing here. 18 cores in an iMac. So to give you an idea, this computer I built, it was like 6 months ago. This was like the fastest that you would build without going to multiple chips. And now it's, there's a lot of stuff that goes faster. But for Adobe Premiere, for instance, you know, when I export, like let's say I do my comedy videos and I want to export those and upload them to YouTube. I used to use a Surface Pro 4, which I still use that, and I'll talk about Surface Pros next up, and the Surface things that Microsoft makes. I used to use that to edit down all of my video and encode it for YouTube and stuff. And if I did a 15-minute set at the Carmen Bar on a Sunday night, which I should be doing today, except I spent the whole day trying to figure out how to do video casting, and do it right and not lose the sound and all that stuff like I did the first try. if I did that 15-minute set and then I edited it down and then I exported it to 1080p MPEG-4 to upload to YouTube, that export took about 45 minutes. So my 15-minute set with this computer that I built, it's a desktop computer. It's super fast, got a lot of memory, all that stuff. That takes me about, that 15-minute set takes about 6 minutes to export. And if I had 18 cores instead of 4, that would take about 2 minutes to export. So for an iMac, this is pretty impressive. If you do video or you do audio or you do really processor intensive stuff, you're gonna love it. And you want a Mac, you're gonna love this thing. No idea on what the pricing is for it. You can be notified. They don't tell you. They don't tell you a price for it. You know, the base model's 8 cores, so that's still probably double the speed of think of it as half the export time in Adobe Premiere of what I've got right now. Pretty neat. Let's move on to Windows machines. So the first thing I'm going to tell you about, like, there's all sorts of these things, right? There's desktops, there's laptops, there's convertibles, there's all this stuff. So let me tell you a couple things here. The first thing is, if you go to the Microsoft store, like one of their physical stores, you'll see all these PCs, and they have what's called they're called Signature Edition PCs. What's really nice about these is they're made by all your favorite PC manufacturers, Dell, HP, Lenovo, or whatever else, but they don't have all the Dell, HP, and Lenovo crapware that you typically find on a PC. And you know, here's the thing about that crapware, right? You get a new PC and you start using it, and then every day something is asking you to register or upgrade or, you know, pay for a premium service or whatever else, and some of it's just crap and some of it just won't take no for an answer. That's crapware. The computer manufacturers have gotten a little bit better about it, but they're still pretty awful about it. What you should do, I mean, if you want a PC that's not going to give you that garbage, is get a Signature Edition PC. So sometimes they have them on Amazon. They definitely have them at the Microsoft store. If you're trying to buy, like save money and not spend an extra cent, you're probably not going to end up with a Signature Edition PC. Worth every extra penny, though. Fortunately, there's something you can do if you're a little bit technically adept, and that is you buy a new PC, don't use it, use your existing PC to download the Windows 10 installer from Microsoft. That's free. And then you can install what's basically a fresh copy of Windows 10, call it a Signature Edition, if you will, on that new PC. It'll get the drivers and stuff that it needs for, you know, special features and things, but it won't put all the crap software on there. And then do that before you start using your non-Signature Edition PC, and it'll basically be a Signature Edition PC. I think we're going to try that in a one of these video casts, these VJ Paneerswami Jr. video casts in the future. Actually, just get a PC off the shelf and install Signature Edition on it and see how it works. But that's definitely something you should do, because the crapware they put on PCs is terrible. So that's one thing. So another thing is, here are laptops available from the Microsoft store. Now notice, like, the price range of these things. Okay, so here are 2-in-1 PCs. These are these convertible PCs, you know, $900, $800. Here's a simple laptop for $300. There's no such thing as a $300 laptop in the Mac world. You know, you're at $1,000 before you get started. But you know, Microsoft, they've got to compete against these Chromebooks, which are, you know, in the $200 and $300 range, and you know, they're competing hard. So you get a lot of value, you know, in that under $1,000 range, and I think that's probably the biggest, and a lot of variety and stuff, and that's really the biggest advantage over going with a Mac if you're still thinking of going with a Mac. Of course, you can get a gaming PC. Here's a $2,400 17-inch gaming PC. Well, let's talk a little bit about, like, the size of these laptops. 17 inches is too big if you're going to use it as a laptop. You are not going to sit on the couch with a 17-inch laptop in your lap, or, you know, in an easy chair with that in your lap and use it. It's not usable. That's definitely a tabletop laptop, and that's, you know, I'm 6 feet on a tall day. 17-inch laptop's too big for me. I had one in the mid 2000s, a MacBook Pro 17-inch. Too big. It was great for, you know, if I carried it to a site or something and needed like a full workstation to use on a desk. Absolutely great for that. But 15 inches, even with less screen area, was just more usable if I was sitting down. So I would stay away from 17-inch, stick with a 15-inch. Sometimes they call them 16 inches or 15.6. That might be okay. 17, usually just too big. Let's see what else to tell you here. So there's all these different, you know, kinds of laptops you can buy. You know, of course they've got desktops as well. Laptops seem to be more popular lately. You know, notice the price ranges. You know, here's a $2,900 laptop. This is a 17-inch next to a 14-inch $400 laptop. This is actually a full HD touchscreen. That's 1920 by 1080 for $400. That's pretty neat. This Asus VivoBook Flip, that's also a fully convertible. You can use it as a laptop, or you can use it as a tablet. Just a sec. Microsoft makes a series of computers called the Surface. They have a Surface Pro. I actually have a Surface Pro 4. It's really, really nice for Photoshop. I draw on it. I sketch on it. I'm kind of a hack. In fact, I'm really a hack. I'm really not very artistic. But with the pen and that Surface Pro, it's like easier to draw on than paper with a pencil for me. I absolutely love the thing, and I continue to use it for that. Surface laptop, I'm not a big fan of that. The Surface Book 2, and let me show you this. This is kind of neat. So the Surface Pro has a smaller screen than this. It's like a 13-inch, maybe a 12 or 13-inch screen, and it's got kind of a floppy, not so firm keyboard. The keyboard is nice to stand it up. You might have seen it like on desks, on newsrooms and stuff, and they stand it up with a little stand. That's a Surface Pro. Those are nice for if you've got a little desk and you want to type and stuff. It's not so convenient if you just want the thing in your lap and you want to type. So the Surface Book 2, it's a little bit larger screen, and it's a firm keyboard base, and it detaches. You can use it as a tablet, or you can plug it into the base and use it like as a laptop. And it you know, it articulates a little bit. It doesn't flip over like a 2-in-1, but you just detach it and you've got your tablet there. The old Surface Book, when you detached it, it wasn't quite as powerful as a computer. I think with the new one, they still keep the brains in the tablet itself. You get some battery life and some extra things in the base of this thing, but you don't need to have the base to get the full use of the computer that's in the tablet, as far as I understand. So the other thing that's cool that Microsoft makes is they make the Surface Studio. So think of this as an iMac, but watch what you can do. You can flip this thing down almost flat, and then you can draw on this, and it's actually pretty big. It's like 28 inches. Yeah, 28 inches, and it's super high density display, and the pen works great on it. This would be like drawing on a large piece of cardboard or poster board or something, but with a very, very fine detail pen. Absolutely amazing for Photoshop. You would love this. The reason I don't have one of these is because I have a very small office area here, and I'd have to have a bigger desk to put it on. I can fit this widescreen monitor because it's not so deep, but I couldn't fit that Surface Pro. And I get I get the benefit of a little bit more powerful computer under the desk than I would with the Surface Studio. But Surface Studio, if you need a desktop computer and you're like a creative person, this is absolutely amazing. You would not hate this at all. So that's Windows computers. If you want to go the route now, like if you're an advanced user, let's say you want to build your own, or I actually have Raspberry Pi under here, under build your own. So These little Raspberry Pis, this board, it fits in your hand. If your kid needs a computer that they want to hook up to their TV and they want to hook up with a Bluetooth keyboard or you know, maybe a Bluetooth mouse or maybe a media keyboard. Let me show you the keyboard I'm using here, guys. This is actually a media keyboard, as they call it. You'd use it with your media PC. It's, you know what, I could flip this over. So it's a little wireless keyboard. It's got a little trackpad on it. You know, I guess you'd use this if you're sitting on your couch and you're watching movies on your TV or something. Big fan of that. I think it might have been like 30 bucks or something like that. You could pair this with the Raspberry Pi, and you've got, you know, yeah, I think the Raspberry Pi, the third edition's like 30 bucks or 40 bucks or something. There's like a $10 case you could put it in. You need a little USB power supply for it. You know, for 50 bucks, 50 or 60 bucks, you've got a very functional computer that your kids could use. And guess what? They can't screw up your computer, and they really can't screw this thing up either. So that might be something you like. It's a little bit more hobbyist. You know, you have to do a little bit of research before you buy it, and, you know, find the right things on Amazon and all that stuff. And it can be kind of nerdy, but also pretty capable. I have a real Indian friend who is using these Raspberry Pis he created like an infotainment system for long-haul bus transport. And so he's got these Raspberry Pis in the buses, and then they can distribute like video content, you know, like free movies and things like that to viewers that view on screens that are on the backs of seats and stuff. And he's making a little bit of money doing that with, you know, all this cheap hardware. So they're pretty capable, but it's a little more work than having a Windows PC or a Mac. Definitely worth looking at if you're looking at cheap PCs. If you actually want to build your own PC, like I needed to build a PC to do Adobe Premiere exports. I went to PC Part Picker. I looked through their build guides. I found one that was about a $2,300 build, and stuck to it pretty close. I could detail it in one of our future video casts if you want. You could see how to build a really good Adobe Premiere box. And it turns out that, you know, I'm using this for video streaming right now, and it's handling this mightily. I am at 10% CPU, 20% GPU, as they call it. I got a really nice GPU for this thing, by the way. I had to wait 3 weeks for it, but it's pretty sweet, and not very much memory. And I'm able to stream, and you know, I've got my good mic hooked up through a Zoom H6, and yeah, it's a real nice system. Oh yeah, I've got the piano over here also hooked up to the Zoom. I can't hear myself play because I don't have the monitor on, but I'm sure it sounded great. So that's how you might build your own. I think that covers. Oh, let's see here. Let's talk about displays for a minute. Here's the display that I bought. It turns out I think it was about 700 bucks when I bought it. These things have come down in price quite a bit in 3 months, and there's like many more of them that are available. This is a 34-inch wide QHD, which means it's 3440 by 1440, so it's got a lot of pixels on it. I wish I could show it to you, but the little webcam I'm using is kind of stuck there, and maybe I'll take a picture of it and put it on Twitter or something. And I use DisplayPort. DisplayPort is how you talk to large screens now, not HDMI. So I use the DisplayPort connection from the video card on my computer, and it does a wonderful job. If you're looking for some monitors like this, by the way, when you check the price, it's like, this is insane. It's like 1,800 bucks now. No, that's way too much to pay for this. I think I paid like $750 maybe, something like that. Let me show you some another nice display. So here's a Dell display that's curved. Curved is nice, you know, when they're this large and they're curved, it gives you a little better angle on it. It's 34 inches. It's also QHD. You'd have no problem with this. It's got DisplayPort in. It's got 2 USB 3 hubs on it. This is an amazing monitor. This is probably the one I would buy today if I couldn't have gotten that Acer. And it seems to me that the equivalent was about $1,100 when I bought that Acer. So you know, prices have come down quite a bit. Now during the day, I don't work at this big machine. Like I said, I work with that Chromebook, and I like to have a second screen for it. So I'm sitting on the couch. Imagine me, I'm sitting on the couch. I got my feet up on the ottoman. I've got a dog on the right side of me, and on the left side of me, I got this guy. And it comes with a little stand, and then it's got this way to prop it up on the back. It works absolutely great. It connects to the HDMI port on my what's it called? My Chromebook, and it extends the display. It also connects up to the HDMI cord on my Windows laptop. I have a Dell. It's one of those 2-in-1s, and it's the Windows laptop super fast too. But this basically doubles my display area, so I can put, for instance, like when I'm doing Google Hangouts or whatever, I'll put the Hangouts window over on this, and then I can share my main screen, and then the user can't see like a script that I have or research that I've done. They just see, my customer just sees you know, what I want to show them. So this thing's pretty neat, and you know, $400, it's a great value. It's very portable. They have a little case for it that's like, I mean, it's a little sleeve, kind of a canvas sleeve. It's about $20. Beautiful display. That'll even work with a Mac also, if you have the little adapter for HDMI. So these are pretty neat. I take mine, you know, if I ever go out, you know, with a customer side, do a demo, something like that, I'll take this with me, and it works. Yeah, it works great. So those are the things I wanted to show you today, you know, like a computer buying guide. Just to kind of sum up, if you have to have a Mac, there's good options. They're not touchscreen, they're not convertibles, but they're not bad. They're really popular with creative types. You have to buy it from Apple. That's the only way really to get it. So go do that if you have to have a Mac. If you need a Windows machine, get a Signature Edition PC, or you know, find a geek friend who could install a fresh copy of Windows before you start using the computer, so that you don't have all the crapware on it. Crapware sucks. Crapware is the worst thing about Windows. If you have a little bit of money to spend and you want a Microsoft product, the Surface products are amazing. Go use them in a Microsoft store. They're absolutely amazing. If you want to build your own, build your own. If, however, you only need you know, a computer for like web browsing and maybe running some Android applications and stuff, and that gets you by, Chromebooks are an amazing value. By the way, I don't think I mentioned this before, but they're the best-selling computer right now for use in schools. All the schools use them because, you know, they're heavy duty. They're mostly indestructible. Software-wise, the kids can't screw them up. They're easy to manage. You know, they're just good laptops for what they need in school. And for the most part, you know, in school you're not doing video editing, or you're not doing you know, audio editing and stuff. And if you do need to do those things, well, you can order some special computers for those activities. You don't have to. Not everybody has to have a, you know, full-blown, you know, complete PC in order to, you know, browse the web, write papers, all that other stuff. Chromebooks are just amazing for that. So I would definitely recommend a Chromebook. If you want a Chromebook, get a Chromebook. If you need a Windows machine, I gave you some guidelines to, you know, buy a Windows machine. If you need a Mac, gave you some guidelines for that too. And that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I am VJ Paneerswami Jr. My good customers call me VJJ, and I don't really care because they pay me a lot of money. And hopefully you found something useful for that. And we'll do these in the future. I'd like to do one, you know, at least every couple of weeks. I'm just kind of figuring things out here, and that's all for now. I'll talk to you soon.